Welcome to the third episode of Healing Behind the Scenes. We're already on the third chapter episode, right? I know that's what I'm thinking. So in the last chapter, I emphasized the importance of how, we need to develop our intuition by telling my own story on how I was able to develop my intuition and honestly how it's still developing. However, I just want to be transparent for a moment, okay? Again, that is the purpose of this. Healing behind the scenes. What's really happening behind the word healing? It's not healing, honestly, is not rainbows and ice cream and unicorns, okay? And a lot of people don't seem to realize that. It takes courage. It takes strength to look at your weaknesses, to look at who you are as an individual and say, okay, this part of me is not the best part of me. This part of me is hurting me, or this specific part of me needs to change. Okay? And it when you're going through each experience, sometimes it's hard to see the light at the end of the tunnel. Okay? Sometimes it's impossible to want to keep going. And you have to really sit down and ask yourself, what is the purpose of all of this? Why did I get into this field? Why am I going this route? And that's the part of being spiritual. That's the part of healing that nobody really talks about. So we're going to talk about it. Okay? Thinking about this topic, I've realized along the way that a lot of the experiences that we have, they are absolutely necessary. They're not fun. They're not always fun, to be honest. They're not always the best. Sometimes they're enjoyable. Sometimes, you can smile through it. Sometimes you're like, I can't, I won't, I will not, I shall not, I shan't not smile. And that is okay. That is perfectly fine. But back to what I was saying, a lot of the experiences that we have, they're all connected. Okay. Like I can remember about, I want to say about 3 years ago, 2.5 to 3 years ago. No, so it's, let's say between 3 and 4 years. Okay. I never had a dog growing up, and I was like, you know what? I want to try this, okay? At the time, I was still working with the company that I talked about before, and I got this rescue dog, and the dog wasn't that big. I actually was low-key scared of the dog, okay? It was my first dog. It was not the best experience. I would say I had that dog for about 3 to 4 days, and everybody thought that was the funniest thing in the world. Honestly, it was not, and if I'm not mistaken, I did talk about him in the previous video. However, the point, the reason, the whole reason why I said that is because I had that dog for 3 or 4 days, maybe 2 or 3, and I ended up bringing him back to the rescue that I got him from. And I know that sounds mean, blah 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 blah. Trust me, I've heard everything, any and everything related to that. And I was like, I will never have a dog. Okay. But about a year and a half down the line, I started to get that inkling to get a dog again. And I'm like, I already went through this shit. I don't know if I wanted to go through this again, but it was different, right? That time had passed, and this was early early 2020, okay? I was saying how in early 2020, I was saying how I wanted to become an independent contractor, right? Or sorry, I was transitioning from working with a company as a supervisor to being a contractor and focusing on my healing, okay? And at that time, I started to get that inkling to get a dog. But it was different, okay? It was everybody's opinions were put to the side, and it was like, I want a dog. I want a specific type of dog. Of course, the dog has to be hypoallergenic because I have very sensitive skin, etc., etc. So then I started looking into getting a Yorkie like that December before I left in 2020. Sorry. So I left Valentine's Day of 2020. But December 2019, November 2019, this is when I started to get the inkling to get the dog again. So I started doing research. I remembered my experience with the previous dog. It was not the best. So I took into account all that I had experienced up until getting the previous dog, and then I added that to my research, and you know how you search for dogs and stuff, and I added that experience to that. And long story short, I did end up getting another dog. He is a Yorkie. He's actually about to be 2 on the 25th of this month, actually, yes. So he's gonna be 2 at the end of January 2022. And every time I think about it, sometimes I'm still like, why do I have a dog? Or but I say all that to say I went from having a dog for 2 to 3 days to having a dog for 2 years already. Okay, so although the experience in the moment wasn't fun, although I had reached my wit's end with that previous dog, it was not without reason. Okay, it taught me a lot of lessons that I needed to know that I was not aware of. It made me realize that I preferred to have a dog as a puppy and train that puppy to be more suited to my lifestyle and the things I do. And just etc., etc. Okay, so I just told you about how the first dog I had for a few days. Now I have Yorkie. I've had for about 2 years. Now building on that, okay, my father passed away in October. Okay, and I can even go before that. In the past 2 years, I have had several challenges that have approached me, that have tested me, my patience, my character, my morale. They have tested me. Okay, and I'm just speaking about the past 2 years alone. I'm not even going to talk about life, but in the past 2 years, right? I've had this puppy that I've been training, and just like been wanting to be a better individual. So doing these different classes and going through different certifications to be the best individual that I can be. But along the way, I have had those challenges, and those challenges, baby, some of those challenges beat me to the core. Okay. And again, I'm an introvert. I'm just learning how to open up to other people. So for me, I was right, but then there's this puppy. I've had this puppy that's with me on my good days and my bad days, okay? And long story short, if you know anything about dogs, they're very affectionate, okay? They're very affectionate. They will give you the love that they have for you. Like, they have unconditional love. And so, tying all that together, that puppy really helped me get through some tough times, okay? As annoying as he fucking is, he helped me get through some tough times. Like, even today, I barely had the motivation to do anything, but he was right there. He was just how people say their kids make them want to be a better person. I will say, because of I don't want this to sound bad, but because of the responsibilities that I have regarding said puppy, it helped me, to kind of get out of my funk when I was going through it, and continuously. So I say all that to say, it took me 10 minutes to get here. Everything that you go through is for a reason. Okay, it's not fun, it's not easy, but as you go through life, time allows that experience to build into something that is going to work for you. So it's not fun. Okay, it is not fun. It's painful, but it's worth it. And at the end of the day, at the end of your life, you're going to see how every trial that you experienced was worth it in the end. Sending you love, light, peace, joy, and happiness. I'll see you on the next channel.